All right. And so, first of all, it's good to be back as I make some type of effort to be more consistent. But it's good to be away because I allow my cup to fill up a little bit and try not to be redundant. But, you live X amount of time, you see a certain amount of things uh, X amount of times, and you start to pick up patterns, and especially as you start to get older and stuck in your ways, you kind of stick with what works. But the time away has been good. It's just something internally that you feel when you know that when you come to the realization that you actually have something to speak on. And so I was listening. I heard in a Wale song before, but recently I started watching Seinfeld, and I heard George Costanza talk about this, and I thought it was a very profound thing, even though it was a joke, and he was talking about being hopeless and how he wants to be hopeless. And I'm gonna see if I can find it right now. Let's see, here we go. Hold on, I had it in 2x. It's gotten to the point where I'm flirting with operators on the phone. I almost made a date with one. Oh, so there's still hope. I don't want hope. Hope is killing me. My dream is to become hopeless. When you're hopeless, you don't care. And when you don't care, that indifference makes you attractive. So hopelessness is the key. It's my only hope. My only hope. All right, but in all seriousness, the power of indifference, where a lot of men get it wrong, and even I've gotten it wrong, is because it stems from a blue pill mentality where you see a woman and you just a woman you're attracted to and you throw away everything that you stand for basically, or you try to be Mr. Right instead of being your goddamn self, which could also be Mr. Right, but when it comes to indifference you don't really care. And I think that's a big lesson that I learned in my life is not caring too much about the outcome, especially when it comes to women, because women come, women go. You know what I'm saying? And if you spend a great deal of time trying to acquiesce to what you think a woman may want from you, you're going to start to form a type of resentment, whether towards her or towards yourself, which you should point the resentment towards yourself because nobody's making you do anything, nobody's making you be anything. It's all on you. And so you do this because, I mean, obviously you don't think you're good enough. And so you acquiesce and you try to put on the show. And I guess a big part of why a lot of relationships fail anyway is because people can't keep up with the persona that they give off in the beginning when they're supposed to be, you know, cool and caring and loving and all that shit that fades away. You're better off showing somebody what they're going to get from the start because it all leads back to that anyway when shit gets real. And so I figure if I keep it real with who I am, if things fail, then what have I really lost? Stay true to who I am. Maybe it just wasn't a good fit. But it's very easy to convince yourself that it is a good fit when when there's no arguing, there's no fighting, you're getting along, you know? Yeah, more times than not, more than likely when something is fresh, you're going to get along. Like it's the honeymoon phase, whether if you're married or not, honeymoon phases happen. And I've had a lot of falling outs with people who we start, with people that I started off on the right good foot with, and a lot of long relationships with people it didn't start off very good. A lot of people I ended up being cool with, I didn't like. in the beginning. So it's just very interesting dichotomy. But it just goes to show that how things start off is not a great indicator of how it will go. Even though I take my chances on just presenting myself as is. And like George was saying, it's just such a profound thing. The indifference does make you attractive. Now, it's not about being attractive towards somebody. In my opinion, I don't really give a fuck. But I guess it is an added bonus. It really does couple with my mentality of, um, fuck, I don't know what my mentality is. Forgot what I was gonna say. Uh, what was I talking about? Oh well, it'll come back to me. But my mentality of not um really caring about the outcome and what was it looking for? So basically, I'm thirsty. But basically, what's the game from this? It weeds out a lot of people who would otherwise not be a good fit. Like, if you're not a politically correct person, it's beneficial to not be politically correct, to not pretend to be politically correct, to not pretend to care about shit that you don't care about. All right. There's somebody for everybody, or so I've been told. But also, you got to be okay with maybe there is nobody for you. You know, that's something that I bought into. It's just because I guess sometimes I convince myself that I'm such an outlandish character that I mean the people who are for me are just, I don't know, out of reach. That's a safe way to put it. Just kind of out of reach. Maybe I'll never stumble across that person, or maybe I'll always be making settlements. And I guess because I'm so used to loss, so used to losing things. That's one of the biggest guarantees in life, is that you're going to lose things. I guess I've gotten a little, maybe not comfortable is the word, but I got a little bit more accepting, which brings me back to that video. Like, acceptance uh, brings peace. It can enable you to bring about uh, a great deal of peace, tranquility. And when I'm overwhelmed with things, the acceptance always brings me back in. All right. Uh, and a lot of people who faced a great deal of ridicule, judgment, criticism, it it always I noticed how they reverted to that, how their methods were not trying to argue against what people said about them, and often cases they probably agreed, which which was a big selling point with the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. The biggest selling point was, not trying to fight every battle and not trying to defend yourself against what people may have to say about you. Sure, you may find yourself in positions where you may have to, but I think you will find more times than not in situations where you find yourself defending yourself or trying to audition, uh, and trying to show people um, the best side of you is probably not even needed. You know, it's a waste of breath, and time could be better spent doing something else. One of the most, I think, one of the greatest attractions, one of the most alluring aspects of choosing, I guess, a life of indifference, no matter what the outcome is or what have you, is that if people choose to stick around in spite of that, then you know you got something real. Because I know that I got friends that I couldn't cut off with a pair of scissors. You know, they're my friends. You know what I'm saying? They're my brothers. And the same thing, and the same thing with my actual blood brothers. I don't think there's too much about me that will push them away. Maybe, who knows? But even if that were the case, I still don't care. I remember what I was about to say earlier. Okay, I knew it would come back to me. This coincides with my mentality towards compliments. There you go. I don't care about compliments. Compliments don't do shit for me. Insults probably do more for me than compliments, but I treat it all the same. Uh, I I don't know if that's a healthy thing, but that's where I am. That's where I've landed. You know, personally, I don't really like to praise people for what I see, and so I guess I don't want to be praised for what I see. I mean, I guess it's okay to praise people, but I remember listening to somebody, and he was like that he would never praise his children, based on a label, but more so on their performance. So what I mean is like, he wouldn't refer to his children as talented or smart. He would say that they were hardworking or they applied themselves. You know what I'm saying? You and the reason for this is okay. So you tell a child, for example, that he or she is smart, then they think, well, they just got it, and well, you know, I can pass this. I'm smart. It's almost like a badge or something like that, like a just a label, something that you wear, like a doctor or something like that, without the work, might I add. Uh, as opposed to saying, damn, you got straight A's, man. You really applied yourself. So you're just reinforcing the method that it took for them to get to that place, as opposed to just basically implying that they got something because of who they are and not what they did. So I think it's a very great distinction. And so I don't really care if people look at me like I'm a genius or like I'm smart or even if they think I'm attractive. None of that shit really matters to me. Nothing. I guess the only thing that really matters to me is growth, um, results, and the well being of my child. That's it. And my well being too, Gotta stay fit, at least. But a lot of other things that probably most people care about, I just don't care about anymore. Don't know how I got this way. Probably spent too much time on the outside, and I look inside and I see what bothers people, and I'm just like, God damn, the world is full of shit to be bothered by. Maybe you should cut some of that out, and that's what I do. I'm big on process eliminations. Something I learned from public school that's actually very useful, and it was never meant to be that way, I guess, or maybe it was. But yeah, process of elimination. Take away things that I don't need. Take away things that don't service me, and see what's left. Yo, what's up? Vom Red. What the hell is this? Don't know what that means. Maybe I'm not hip anymore. But that's where I am. And so to circle back to how that applies to women and things like that, I don't do the mating rituals. It doesn't mean that I can't be a generous person. It doesn't mean I can't be giving. And I'm sure not the most romantic person. But I play it this way. I never start off with just trying to empty out the empty out the bag and trying to impress somebody. I guess I don't know what the traditional sense of courting somebody is, but I definitely don't do that. Um, I've tried too many times, so naturally I would change my approach. Something that's more suitable for me, and whether if I like somebody or not, whether if I find somebody to be attractive or not, I still treat them the same way with a basic level of respect, and I just go from there. And I pretty much speak to everybody the same way by default. Um, Obviously, with the exception of people who I actually have a broken in relationship with, treated differently, as you should. 'Cause each relationship is a different journey, it's a different connection. Perhaps it requires different things, but at the core of everything, I want to be true to who I am. And so I bring who I am into everything that I do, no matter what criticism comes with that. If I play basketball, I play basketball the way that I play it. If I write the way that I write. If I talk the way that I talk. And that's it. If you're looking for something else, I'm sure you can find it. It's a boundless world. It's plentiful. Anything you're looking for, you can find it. So that's why I don't care about being that perfect fit for somebody else, because either I am or I'm not. But I'll never know if I don't show up as the person I am, as the person that you see. All right. That obviously different variations of who I am, you know. And I'll always play to what that may imply in any given situation. Sometimes I may be goofy, sometimes I may joke a lot, sometimes I may be grim, sometimes I may be very serious, sometimes I just may be very lazy, and sometimes I may not have much to say. But either way, no matter who I am in that moment, it's real to me. And so I don't need to perform in order to get somebody to like me. I don't care if anybody likes me at this point. I could die tomorrow for all I care. Not because I want it, but I mean, it's true. It could happen. I'm not going to be spending the rest of my life worrying about how I can get people to like me. That's just not going to happen. All right. So I'm gone.